Welcome back. This is Matt Beenan with BuiltRight Industries. Today we're going to get into the dash of our 2021 F-150. For this build, we're going to be installing the Dash Mount Pro because we're going to have a cell phone or a couple of cell phones, an iPad for auxiliary navigation, and then we've got an Icom 5100 from Keith at LVJ that we're going to be installing and wiring. So if you're interested in how you might get the dash of your F-150 set up, or if you've got another truck that might be similar, we do have dash mounts for a number of them. Definitely follow along. Let's get into it. All right, so we're here in our warehouse. You can see it's a little bit tight. We've got the F-150 parked in what is essentially our break room slash warehouse slash assembly area. We've outgrown this current space. Our new headquarters being built. We're all just gonna have to deal with this for now. So this is all the gear that we're gonna use to set up the dash of our F-150 on our 2021 build. I'm gonna give you a little bit of an overview of what we selected here, and then we'll do kind of a detailed unboxing of each of these pieces so that you can understand those selections a little bit better. So the centerpiece of this install is our dash mount. I've got two of them here because we have a standard version and a pro version. In a minute, I'm going to unbox these, show you the difference. We're going to install the pro version on our truck based on our use. We've got two Ram X-Grip standard kits. This is a kit that we pieced together with Ram. It's got an arm, an X-Grip mount, diamond-shaped base, and then the hardware you need to attach that to our dash mount. So we've got two of those. The first will be used to mount a cell phone. The second is going to be used to mount the display of our Icom ID-5100. This is a unit we worked with Keith over at LVJ Motorsports. We kind of are a little bit of a newbie group here when it comes to radios and stuff. So Keith made this recommendation. There's going to be a learning curve, but we're excited about that. Keith is a great guy to work with. He's kind of in our Raptor circle of friends. Kind of cool when you order stuff from him above a certain level. He sends a challenge coin and a little plastic toy soldier, which is cool. Thank you very much for that, Keith. We've got a bracket. This is kind of a universal bracket. It's going to help us mount the controller for the Icom. And then we've got an iPad mount. This is from Ram. Part number on this happens to be AP17U. We'll put that in the description as well. And then we've got, this is a combo that Ram puts together that's an arm with two larger ball mounts. And this is 101U. I'm sharing those part numbers because Ram has like a bazillion, and it can be kind of confusing. So we'll put these in the description. We'll probably talk about it in more detail in a second, but that is sort of the overview about what we're going to install right now. All right, so what we've got here are our two dash mounts. On the top, I've got a Dash Mount Pro. Bottom, I've got a standard. I'm going to show you the Pro because, again, that's the one that we're going to use on our truck. They're also just one step removed from each other. So you open the box, the first thing you're going to see is the dash mount itself. This is a pretty sizable piece. This is a great looking part. So this is the main bracket. So if you order just a standard dash mount, you're going to get the main bracket and the hardware kit. The Pro, the difference between the Pro and the standard is the Pro is going to come with this support bracket. This actually mounts to the dash structure below the plastic tray, and then it provides these 5 threaded mounting features for the dash mount to bolt through the tray. So instead of just bolting the dash mount to the plastic tray, which is sufficient if you're just going to mount maybe 1 or 2 cell phones, that sort of thing, we're actually providing a really rigidly mounted piece below the tray that you're bolting through. So in our case, because we've got a radio, an iPad, and a cell phone mount we're going to use, we're going to opt for the Dash Mount Pro version here, which is going to include the support plate. Again, the standard version here is going to be exactly what you see here, minus the support plate. All right, so what we're going to use in our dash mount setup to hold a cell phone and also the head unit for the Icom radio is the BuiltRight Industries Ram X-Grip mount combo. This is the standard size. There is a larger size, but I think standard is going to work for us. When you open this up, you're going to get a Ram mount arm, double socket arm. This is for a size B ball, which is included here. These balls, when you pull this out, sometimes there's some like markings and stuff here. I actually just pulled off a little bit of extra rubber. Just the way that these are manufactured, sometimes they end up looking used before you get them. It's a comment that we get frequently. Just rest assured they're not, and they're aluminum, so you're not going to have any rust issues or anything. So the ball mount there is included. This is what's going to attach to our dash mount. And then to the opposite side of the arm is the X grip. And I'll actually open this up to show you because there's another question that commonly comes up with this. So with the X grip, you have the grip here. Your phone goes in like that. It comes with this kind of a harness of sort, I think they call it. And so what this does is once your phone's in there, you can loop this out around the corners of your phone. I think a lot of motorcycle guys will kind of use this. I haven't needed to use it. And then this is actually a little tube of super glue. And what Ram recommends you use this for is these little fingers can slide on and off. And if you have problems with that, I've had that happen on a hot day where this softens up in the dash. A little bit of super glue on here. Reinstall that. And you shouldn't have any issues. So I may actually go ahead and do that preemptively on this one so that we don't have any issues going forward. The final step, and this is actually the smallest but maybe most important, is a hardware kit. So this is a hardware kit that we put together. This is going to be what you need to mount your ball mount base to the dash mount. And it comes with a little bit of extra hardware in case you go and source another one of these on your own. You've got enough for you have 4 nuts and bolts here. So that is the Ram X Grip kit that we're going to use for our cell phone and for the head unit. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at is our iPad setup. Now, we're not going to do anything too crazy in this truck. I know some of you guys are launching your trucks in the dunes and whatever. We just need to keep an iPad in place off-road. So we've got this Ram, and Ram has a lot of different options for iPad mounts. This one is pretty basic, but that's kind of the name of the game. We like to keep it simple. So this is a mount. These are specific to an iPad size. I think this one's for the 9.7-inch iPad. But it's pretty simple, right? It's got these 2 feet in here. The top of the iPad is going to click in up here. And then to the back here, we've got 2 mounting locations for a Ram ball. So I've got this Ram ball arm that I talked about earlier. This is the arm with the 2 ball mounts. And you're going to notice that these are larger ball mounts than we had in the X Grip kit. I think these are 1.5 inches. So they're pretty substantial. But this Ram kit comes with the hardware we're going to need to mount this to the iPad mount, and we'll experiment. I suspect we may mount it to the center here. And then the opposite side is going to mount to our dash mount. So if you remember in that X Grip kit, we had a hardware kit similar to this that came with some extra nuts and bolts. We're going to use those to attach this to our dash mount. So with that, that's our Ram mounts set up to hold our iPad, our iPhone or telephone. Telephone,
hey, get your landline
or the head unit to our radio. So now that we've got that established, we're going to open up this Icom 5100 and see what that's got. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the ID-5100A here that we got from Keith at LVJ. Before I open that up, I got this universal bracket. I think this is the bracket that's going to hold the control unit for this radio, which we're going to mount elsewhere in the truck in a different video. But I do want to show that because I don't believe that that's included. So I'm going to set this aside. And we will open this up. Nice packaging. I love good packaging. Now, Keith does some customization to these radios, so I know he's been in here. Oh, we get to start with the best, right? This is pretty. That is the head unit. I guess I'm not sure if that's the official proper term for what that is, but somebody will correct us here in the comments, I'm sure. We got power wire. This is pretty substantial. I think these radios pull a decent amount of power. We've got that. What's this? The speaker? Microphone speaker? I'm sure there's an official name for that. This is like I guess in layman's terms, a telephone cable. I think this is called an RJ12. And then I'm noticing that the back of this has an RJ45 jack. So I'm guessing this RJ12 plugs into, yeah, the side of this head unit deal here. And then this, we do have a small mount. I wonder if this is for the back of here. It looks like maybe it is. All right, so we're going to play with that a little bit. But there is a bracket here. There's a fuse and then a clip for the... what's this called? There's got to be an official name for this. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. I need to know. Got to be okay. Microphone. I was thinking it was going to be fancier than that. We're calling this the touch screen. This is quite a lot of learning that needs to happen here. I'm excited though. Okay, the controller thing is called the transceiver. This will be my bedtime reading. Okay, so I've got some definitions here. This is the controller, which that makes sense. This is what controls the main unit. So I'm going to dig in here. This is pretty heavy here. All right, so this is the main unit. And then this obviously is the microphone. And this is something that we're not going to mount this today. We're focused on getting the dash really set up. But the microphone is going to plug into this main unit here. So what we're going to do is we're going to mount this behind the rear seat. We're going to run an extension to plug the microphone into this and then to plug the controller into it as well. And we're going to cover that in a different video. So I think we got our arms around the radio here. Let's test out and see if this is actually bigger than I was expecting. That small X grip is going to be a little bit tight. This small X grip is going to be, oh, here, we'll do this. People really like to pull that stuff off. All right, so the standard size X grip is tight on here. So I'm going to go run back into the warehouse and pull out a large X grip kit, and we'll give that a shot. Okay, so we swapped our standard X grip kit for a large kit. This kit's going to have all the same stuff, except the X grip piece here should be a bit larger. Yeah, I can already tell this is probably closer to what we need here. So let's try that. Awesome. That looks really slick. That's going to work really well. So then we're going to use the arm, obviously, from that kit to attach this to the dash mount. And then if we don't want to be displaying this for fear of theft or otherwise, this is a really easy thing then to remove and toss it in the glove compartment. There's just one connection there. So let's get on with it. All right, so what I'm basically doing now is just setting up each of these three arms with the attachments that we're going to use so that we can go drop this dash mount in the dash of the truck and mark out with tape where we're going to actually attach things. So like this, for example, is our cell phone mount. I'm going to want that closest to the driver's side. I don't know, something approximately like that. These started on here loosely first. Again, this is something you can do once the dash mount's installed, but it is much easier and probably more efficient to do it with it uninstalled. Even if you have to uninstall the dash mount, you're going to get a better installation. Save your knuckles. Keep the four-letter words to a minimum. Do be like that.
It do be like that sometimes.
You definitely don't want to do this in the truck if you can avoid it. It is possible, but it's painstaking. This is a lot easier. One of the benefits to the Pro mount versus the standard is that the standard you would need to remove the whole tray to take the dash mount out because you're bolting through the tray. With the Pro mount, you can just remove 3 bolts and lift it out because you have those threaded features in the dash. So if nothing else, the Pro mount makes removing the dash mount to reconfigure it easier. That alone is a reason to decide to use the Pro mount versus the standard. But if you're just going to set it up like this once with your cell phone or whatever, it's really not too bad. Again, we still need to make sure we can access this tab from the top with a ball head Allen wrench rather. So something to keep in mind as you're installing mounts. You just need to be able to sneak through there. This is actually kind of slick. The way these are molded here, they capture the nuts like that so that you don't even need a tool. They just keep them from spinning.
that?
I guess you would use this one if you're hanging it vertically, but this is centered on the iPad when it's horizontal. All right, so one thing to note about these RAM mounts, and we mentioned this earlier in a different video, but these are a rubber ball mounted on top of an aluminum or sometimes a plastic plate. In this case, it's aluminum and it's painted. So sometimes on these mounts, you'll see this area right here where it's exposed aluminum. That is because of the way that they mount these and clamp them during manufacturing. That is not an indication that you've received used parts. So this comes up periodically. If it bothers you, my recommendation would be to touch it up. But if you get a part that looks like this, it's not because it's a used or returned part. It's just this is what they look like from the manufacturing process. All right, so because it's always easiest to mount your accessories to the dash mount prior to installing it, we've gone ahead and done that. So now that our dash mount and our accessories are already mounted up, I'm actually going to hand the installation off to Maddie, one of our mechanical engineers who led the way on this project. He's going to walk us through it step by step to make sure we get a good solid install.
Hey guys, Maddie here, taking over for Matt to install our Dash Mount Pro in our 2021 F-150. Alright, so I'm going to start by throwing some masking tape over some of the dash just to try to protect it from any marring. A little bit of masking tape goes a long way, and we're going to get started on that.
So you apply just enough pressure so you feel like you're gonna break it.
Yeah, we also have two broken clips on ours in the back, just from it being put in and out so many times. Tool along the front edge here. Pop both of those out. That unplugged, we can remove our dash tray. So we're gonna loosen these up, not gonna fully remove them, just loosen them up. And we're gonna slide the dash mount support plate under the washer. And now we're good to send it back into the dash. Push in until you hear a click. Seat the back. Make sure the front lip gets pushed back under the radio bezel. At this point, I'll check and look to make sure that my holes are lining up with the threaded insert holes that are in the support plate, which they are. Just until they're snug. And begin the final bolt up. Everything's pushed down. Remove whatever masking tape you put down.
All right, so now that Maddie's got this dash mount installed here really nicely and firmly, we're going to go ahead and place our devices. I'm going to start with my cell phone mount here. I'm gonna keep it kind of a nice low angle. I'm gonna make sure it's not resting on the top of this bezel. If you're using a really heavy device, bigger iPad or something, it's not terrible to let the arm rest on the bezel here. I've seen people who put a little piece of felt or something there to protect it. But I'm gonna just get it nice and tight and close. Now these rubber mounts in the RAM system do have a little bit of compliance, so don't be surprised if you're seeing a little bit of this while you're driving. If you're really focused on it, it may bother you, but it's kind of inherent in any mount. So that's my cell phone location. That's perfect for me. I still have a line of sight to the front edge of the hood. So despite this being where it is, there's just no vision blockage there. I'm really happy with that. All right, so next, this is kind of the biggest unknown, is the iPad. Again, this is probably not something we're gonna be mounting up if we need to be using the Sync 4 screen. This is something that we're gonna throw on if we need auxiliary GPS primarily. But again, gotta get a nice tight low angle on that. Pitch it towards myself. Tighten that up. Oh man, that's really nice and sturdy. Awesome, that actually turned out even better than I was anticipating. So the last piece of the puzzle then is our radio. This again is not something I anticipate needing to interact with very frequently. Now that I see this here, I'm almost wondering if I could have put the iPad on the right and the radio in the center, just with space. But the beauty of this system is it's not too hard to experiment with that. So I am gonna go and I'm gonna put this on the passenger side, because the other thing to consider is that I probably will have a passenger that can help operate this radio if we're in a situation where we need it. I might have put that a little tight, so I'm gonna test fit this. Icom. Yeah, I think I want a little bit more room. All right, so this is a good setup if I had a passenger operating the radio. If I didn't, I think what I might actually do is swap these two, because I could have the radio head unit kind of tucked back here and the iPad sort of out in front of it. So that may be something. I might go grab a smaller arm if I've got one sitting around, and make that swap eventually. But for now, really just to demonstrate, this is all really solid stuff. Even down a bit, kind of get it right into this area so that's not blocking my HVAC. That's great. I can still see the hood. And then this I'm going to loosen up. Swing this over my way as well. Love that. I can still see from my line of sight. I can still see everything on the screen below here and to the right of there. So that's pretty slick. Bring this back my way a little bit. All right, so I think for right now, this is the way I'm gonna leave it. We'll throw the iPad in here and make sure everything plays nice, and we'll get the Icom radio all wired up and give it a little bit of a test. I think this basically wraps up our dash. We've got our Dash Mount Pro installed. We've got our devices set up. These, of course, are things that are really easy for me to remove or reconfigure. For now, we've got the base platform sort of ready for use, and we're gonna move on to the next thing. All right, so thanks for tuning in on that one. At this point, we've got our dash totally set up, ready to rock and roll in our F-150. And in the next video, we're gonna finish outfitting the interior using a series of BuiltRight utility and MOLLE panels, along with some parts and accessories from other manufacturers. So if you've got questions or feedback on any of this, reach out directly, drop them in the comments, and be sure to check us on the next video.